Hi, my name is Braasch, and I'm the PhD candidate in philosophy at Yale who was falsely accused of racism and whose life was destroyed by the Yale administration, the press, and a global internet rage mob. Thank you so much for returning to my channel to watch another video. So as I usually mention, I'm just holding my iPhone in my hand, so I'll try to hold it as still as possible. Also, I am reading from a script, so that's why I'll be glancing off camera. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So in my previous video, I established that the unfortunate encounter that I had had on February 24th, 2018, with the man who made numerous television appearances is the reason that this entire nightmare unfolded. I will go into the particulars of February 24th in another video. I also established that I was terrorized in my own home that evening. Now, when I met with the Yale Housing Managers, they told me that not only had I done absolutely nothing wrong, but that I was the only person involved who had done nothing wrong, and to return to my dissertation and not give the incident another thought. Now, approximately a week later, I was contacted by one of the Yale Housing Managers. She asked me to come in to speak with the Yale Housing Director, as well as the Hall of Graduate Studies resident coordinators. I assumed that this was so the resident coordinators, or RCs, could apologize to me for their behavior. I told the Yale Housing Manager that I harbor no animosity towards the RCs. I told her that as far as I was concerned, the matter was over, and I preferred to simply return to my dissertation. She said that I needed to come in. I met with the Yale Housing Director on Friday, March 2nd, 2018. I was completely shocked by what he told me. He told me that I was being accused of racism. He told me that my two main accusers, the man and the woman who made numerous television appearances, wrote a letter to the Yale Grad School Diversity Dean, Michelle Nearin. I was not told their names. I was told simply the man whom I had encountered and the Hall of Graduate Studies resident who had invited him. He told me that this accusation of racism was quote-unquote gaining traction amongst Yale Deans. He told me that they had convened and determined to treat this as a quote-unquote teaching opportunity. He told me that they wanted me to undergo implicit bias training and they wanted me to participate in a public town hall in front of the Yale community, where I was to publicly declare myself a racist and help teach others how not to be racist like me. He asked me if I was willing to do this. I was completely aghast. I asked what it was exactly that I was being accused of having done or said that was racist. He wouldn't tell me. I told the Yale Housing Director that I was shocked. I told him that I would never do or say anything racist ever. I told him that I was a licensed human and civil rights attorney and activist who actually works on implicit bias and police brutality. The Yale Housing Director seemed very uncomfortable after I said this. He seemed to want to end the conversation and the meeting as quickly as possible. Then I asked him if anyone had addressed the fact that I was the one who was terrorized in my own home, my isolated dorm room, on February 24th. I asked him if anyone had taken any steps to address the fact that I was the one who was verbally attacked in my own home on the evening of February 24th, as the Yale Housing Managers had told me that they would do. The Yale Housing Director seemed shocked by my question. He said that that was the first that he had heard of it. He told me that he would look into it. Then he stood up as if he wanted me to leave his office, so I did. I admit to being in shock for a couple of days thereafter. Then I reached out to the Yale Housing Director, the Yale Housing Managers, and the RCs over email. I will continue my story in the next video. Thank you so much for spending a few moments with me.